Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Kind of letting this news flow drop a little bit here. We had the jobs beat expectations in terms of openings, 7.75 versus a forecast of 7.3. So that's a nice beat for job openings. Good morning, Logger. Good morning, JJ. Really, JJ? That's interesting.
Data, Saudi crude oil exports rose 6.33 million barrels per day in June from 5.88 million barrels per day.
My top step seems to be the same. That looks identical to me. Morning, Scott. Well, welcome everybody. If you're new to the stream, Zane, good morning. We stream here every morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We usually go on to around 12 p.m. We had one good trade pre-stream here. Well, we actually had two. A lot of volatility, so, a little risky trades, but we had the VWAP Bounce short, and we had the return to value long. Two VWAP Wave system setups, both played out in the first 30 minutes of the morning. I generally recommend newer or inconsistent traders to skip at least the first 30 minutes of the open, maybe even the first hour until we have an initial balance at 10:30 a.m. So trade at your own risk. Trading is risky and trading is hard. Take a page out of Ross Cameron's book, My Results Are Not Typical, as he always says. Becca says she can't hear me. Can you guys hear me?
It starts on Trump's tariffs.
Trading is risky and my results are not typical. Says that every 15 minutes, I swear.
U.S. Treasury yields rise following the manufacturing and jobs data. The 10-year yields last up 2 basis points.
Morning, Trader Rick. Morning, William. Volume profile. Filer, Deepu, Lance. Good morning, guys. Welcome to the stream. We're due for a pullback. Good news or not. This daily chart is looking like, we could have our first red day in a while here. In about 6 trading days. This would be day 7. So it wouldn't be that surprising if we got a bit of a sell-off. All right, don't be surprised. On the heel of good news, too. All right, this is a strong market, but even in strong markets, we need pullbacks, just like we have rallies and bear markets. It's healthy. It happens. And I'm trying to hit my profit targets in my top step.
Insisting that the US drops its tariffs on the EU immediately as part of any framework deal before the looming deadline on July the 9th.
Cumulative delta is looking weak.
Take a tougher line on a trip to Washington this week as Brussels tries to remove or at least substantially cut Trump's levies in the long term.
See if we do get the sell-off a little bit. Maybe break IB low from yesterday. We are red on the day so far. Okay, so we'll give it some time.
Manufacturing PMI June 2025 report on the feed for those interested as well.
So we're watching IB low here. A break of this level here could mean some more downside to revisit the lows. Cumulative delta, weak buying here. It is buying, but it's not impressive compared to the amount of selling we just had there. So we'll see if some real buyers step in at this level again or they get sold into. So I'm watching this level here for a short for price discovery to the downside.
Just keep in in mind as well, any time from now, really, Trump is due to be visiting a detention facility as well.
See what we get. Looks like it's starting to get sold into a little bit here. See if they can push it down further.
The traders pair fed rate cuts a bit after the jobs data. September start to rate cut seen as the most likely, and a 21% chance for a July rate cut seen as well.
It's a big wick to the upside there. I am watching short. Buyers. Focusing here, guys. Just seeing if I can get a nice scalp on this short here.
So just noting that an emerging currencies index trims its gains following the US data as well.
Yeah, gold's been in price discovery for a while there.
The Senate's are near a final vote on the Trump tax bill. Fed's bounce says 2025 is clearly an important year. There's a lot going on.
Looks weak.
Fed's pound on Trump's attack says I'm very focused on doing my job.
Can't seem to get any follow through to the downside. Buyer stepped in there again. But they keep getting sold into, you guys. This could be bearish. Looks like they're trying to push it down. There's a lot of buying. A lot of aggressors on the buy side here. They're not making, it's not going up, is what's interesting.
Senate Majority Leader Thune says I believe Republicans have a deal to pass the Trump tax bill.
A lot of buying. Price is not going up. We are seeing a divergence here. Boom.
Bank of England's Governor Bailey says fragmentation is bad for activity in the world economy.
Yeah, Logger, I agree with you on the double top. All right, this is the key level we got to break here. Right here, the 7,800, 7. This is kind of the level we're watching for more downside. Yesterday's IB low. Here we go. See if we can follow through now. Morning, Fritz. So John, I'm trading yesterday's IB levels before 10:30 a.m. Yesterday's levels are still very valid. Until we have a new initial balance, we use yesterday's initial balance. So I do have a bit of a short here. See if we can get the follow through. This is the level. And I see this level more on the cumulative delta than I see it on the chart.
Bank of England's Governor Bailey says we must get back to a multilateral process.
Might not break right through. We got to be patient. I'll scratch and try again if it rallies out of here again. I was short going into the low. We bounced off a VWAP and I had a short. I took off some size and I'll probably stop out on the remainder if we come up to back above 800. All right. Well, that took me out. But that did, here we are again. We'll be trading 5 new 150K XFAs tomorrow. Did the trick. So the trades, I took 2 trades before I went on stream. I told you what they were. They were the return to value. This trade right here, which I didn't wait to go to VWAP. And then we went to VWAP and I shorted VWAP with some decent size, took profits. We had that news break. We went up to VWAP. We saw some weakness in both indices. I shorted roughly around 808 and took profit into that sell-off below IB and then took off the rest. So I'm going to switch over to top 1, start working on that third payout here. So this one will be starting from scratch on stream here. Oh. Well, rallied right out of that hole, guys. Could not show acceptance. So this is my top 1 account. This is just took profits on this. So this I took $7,000 out of here. So I have about almost $17,000 of profit in this account. So right now the balance is 90, almost 10 grand. So I have 10 grand in drawdown. And my goal is to hit $650 a day for 10 days. That's the goal. $650 a day for 10 days. Because you have to trade a minimum of 10 days. And I have to do another, I don't know, $7,000 or so in profit. Something like that. So just going to pace it out one day at a time. So I'm at 0 on stream here. This account, 49,704. The same one I've been trading for since May. I've been trading this funded account since May. Yeah, JP, I told you guys, get ready to scratch that one. If it doesn't hold or accept, get out, right? There's no need to hold on to it. Ideal situation, you get out for a small profit or a scratch. You don't turn what was likely going to be possibly a winning trade into a loser. No reason for it. Take the next setup. You'll see me guys scratch. You'll see me scratch. Whoa. What was that? That was a bunch of shorts getting liquidated. A bit of a long there. Can't see me? There's a, you have to click on the screen, right? I don't understand why you wouldn't be able to see me. For those of you who can see me, what are they doing wrong? I don't understand. My screen is frozen. Okay, you want me to shut it down and come back on? See if that works? Okay. I'm going to shut it down. Huh. Weird. Let me finish up this trade here, guys, and then I'll look into what's going on. No follow through again. All right, let me try and shut down the stream and we'll try again. Let me just save this real quick. Okay. Okay. I am the leaders. Could be leading today. Bunch of book. Oh, thanks, Francis. Buying the book.
It's bouncing.
Okay, good, Fritz. So they had a blocking on the payment. All right, very cool. So that's all rectified and should work now. All right, I'm going to shut down the stream in the Discord, guys. There's apparently a problem. So I'm going to end this stream and then I'll just open a new one and just everybody come back in. Okay, hopefully that's better. Okay, good. Yeah, not sure what that's about. Sorry, guys. Technology, you know, it's great until it doesn't work. And you saw me scratch that long, right? I don't get married to my trades, guys. I have an idea, I get in, see if I'll let it work. Maybe I'll close it for a small profit. If it runs, no. You know, it's all dynamic. I'm using my discretion. Do trades wind up running without me after I stop out for a scratch? Yes. But what it also stops me from is major big losers that I get attached to. So when you get comfortable with just cutting trades regardless, I feel like it's really key to get comfortable with just cutting trades. Just be like this. I don't like this trade anymore. It's not working the way I want. It's starting to lose. It's starting to lose my, just take it off. Look for the next one. That's my best advice. Get comfortable with cutting trades. Will you get scratched out of a lot of trades that could have worked? Yes. But you'll also get out of a lot of trades that could crush you. So it's worth it, in my opinion. A lot of fake outs in this market, guys. That was a, looks like they squeezed out everybody.
Mexico's president.
All right, do we want to try this short again?
Full cattle exports are to continue.
Here we go. Come on, a little lower, baby. Let's go. That break even. Ah, they're going to buy it up again. Get some follow through for once. Man, that came so close to my profit target. That's so annoying. No, I'm short. I have a pretty good short too. 803 and we're at 89. Well, we'll trade the whips. We'll trade the rotations. The cumulative delta is very bearish, but it's not going down. They're soaking it. It's being soaked. Can they overwhelm the soakers? Ooh, Andy. Dangerous. I've made mistakes like buying like 5 minis in my cash account by mistake instead of 5 micros. That was a serious oh shit moment, you know? Come on, can we get a little follow through the downside? This will hit me a profit target for this one account and one trade. Tempting to just take it, but trying to be patient. Another 10 points. Let's go. Come on. Yes. 587. What? Had a profit target at 650. That's annoying. Ah. And I had 600 as the target. Oh well. I'm locked out. Nice trade. Anybody talk that? Good work, everybody. Nice. Be magical. It's still going. I got locked out. Nice, Henry. Beautiful short, everybody. Beautiful. All right. Let's see what we get next. Anybody still holding it? You can try and go for a runner here. Break a lows. Next stop, probably. Oh, we have a low volume node here from Friday. So this is a crucial area. I would, if you have, I would probably take off a little bit of your position if you could. And if you want to hold a runner, I would say next stop is probably 38. Nice trade. Still very heavy on the cumulative delta. No real buying. Maybe we have some buyers here. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. That's where you want to be short, guys. So we were watching this inflection area we had marked out here around 800 for a price discovery short. All right, we're breaking out of today's value area, both on the bands and the volume profile on the hourly. Right, our lower value is right here at this gray line, matched up right with our lower VWAP band. Puts us below also yesterday's value area. So that's just price discovery. Nice setup. Now we wait for the next one. Johan, 22,500 target profit. That's huge. That would put us back to Thursday afternoon's pricing. That would be a hell of a drop. That would put you down. That means NQ would need to drop another full percent. So we'd have to be down almost 1.7 on the day to hit that profit target. Are we going to have that big of a red day? Maybe. I guess it's possible. It's a very bullish market. We'll see. Let's see some of the biggest red days we've had. We haven't had a red day that big since May. Oh yeah, I didn't even look at Dow really, Zane. Yeah, Dow is strong, but there isn't, when it goes straight up like that, there isn't many places to get in. The setup was back at 10:05. You know, I wasn't paying close attention to 10:05. I was just starting the stream. So that was the setup location.
It's bounced as I fully support putting leverage ratio back as backdrop. So that's pound saying I fully support putting the leverage ratio back as a backstop.
Let me see delta on the Dow.
Bounces, I think we need a stable point framework.
So what do you say? 10:10? Yeah, I mean, so that all that selling was being absorbed. So all the somebody was picking up all those selling shares. So yeah. Bob, good spot. Yep, that would be a good, nice divergence. Let me take a picture of it and I'll bring it over to the chart for everybody. Everybody's learning purposes. Okay. You guys still short? Nice hold. We have an initial balance, so it's breaking below it now. Yeah, it helps to have it when your settings are correct. Was a nice short right there. There's another opportunity to get in on the 1 minute as it approached lower band for the back test.
Fed's Chair Powell concludes his panel comments at the ECB forum.
You're welcome, Carlos. Yep, there was. I see that. Short upper band on ES. So Bob's talking about right here. Nice setup. Libby, what happened? Kulikau? Where do we go short? Where? Which trade? The one we took earlier? Which trade? We've taken, there's been a couple of trades. We took a short. This is a lower band short. I took this. I mean, I was looking for the sell off eventually. I tried it once here, got scratched out. We had a little short squeeze, reclaimed below, VWAP bounce, VWAP. And I was anticipating a revisit. All right, so break. So this is a VWAP trap. All right, broke above it, spent about 4 minutes above it, went right back below it. So that's a VWAP trap. So I went short. I got it short right around here, around 808 or something like that. And I held it through the break of the level we've been watching, that we've been waiting to break. It broke it, back tested it, went lower, tried to back test the band, lower. Now it's back testing IB, could go lower. So this is a price discovery breakout to the short side. Back test IB at low, going lower. You know, it's crazy. I bought a bunch of Dow ETFs in my Roth at the open, just for my long-term account. That was awesome. Oh man, Libby. Those are amateur mistakes. We gotta clean that up. Don't worry, I'm guilty of amateur mistakes too. I was just talking about how I bought 10 minis instead of 10 micros. Maybe it was 5. It was a lot. It wasn't 10. It was like 5, I think. All right, what are you guys doing on over at YouTube? You guys are just hanging out? No questions over there. All is quiet. All right, I guess I'll get going in the cash account. Already hit my profit target in Top Step. Those are going to be new XFAs tomorrow. 5 150K XFAs. Going for another big payout on those. Working on my third payout in the same Top 1 futures account. Hit my profit target on that. And now I'm going to work on my cash account. Okay. Clean this up a little bit here. All right, I don't recommend anybody buy this. We blew right through the the point of control. So next stop would be 700. Could be an interesting spot to grab a scalp. But this thing could go down a lot. We need a pullback in this market. Imagine this was just a giant short squeeze, all-time highs, and then the next bear market. Not that crazy. It's happened before. I took my first trade this morning, shortly after the open. Let's take a look. So I took my first trade. Here it is, 934. But it was small. Oh, 45 bucks, 125, lost 65, 170, 30, 165, 15 loss, 105, 120 loss, 60. Then I nailed it on stream with the 330, 315, 50. So no big losers, just little losers. Couple of small winners, couple of medium-sized winners, and a couple of nicer size winners. Yeah, I see that, Logger. NQ is much weaker. It's down spot 8, whereas ES is only down spot quarter. Dow is up spot 6. Big divergence in all the markets. Russell's following the Dow. So these will be XFAs. I'm going to shut all these down. Lock it out. Just lock it out. Just lock it out. You guys know that song? Just lock it out. All right. Let's just walk it out, right? Just walk it out. Just lock it out. All right. Let's see what we can do in the cash account. Now, there's no entry short, right? This is like the same thing when it goes straight up, right? If you want short higher, it's tough to go short down here. So, you know, maybe we look at gold for the return to value. You know, it's still above IB low, so that's a tough one. And we have a big low volume node right here. So that's a tough short trade too on gold. Maybe the long is better, even though we have return to value on the VWAP. The long is almost the safer trade, as it builds value right here. What's the current gold contract? GCQ. So kind of like the long. In gold. I don't know, man. We'll see. IB low. Maybe this break and reclaim of IB low might be a good trade. GCQ. Well, we'll watch it. Yeah, quite the drop. Still going. All right, gold broke. IB low. See if it reclaims it. Kind of a reclaim there.
So Trump is now speaking live at this detention facility.
Yes. Take one off there. Oh,
So not speaking at the detention facility. It appears he's just arrived in the area, currently speaking to reporters.
bit of a squeeze there.
So the video was pinned to the calendar and
43.
also posted on the feed for those interested.
Stop me out. The rest of my position. But quick, 250 bucks on gold there. We went down to value area low right there from Friday. Want to be careful buying this though. Very careful. Want to get good entries, sniper entries. It's the most buyers that have come in the last 20 minutes. You can look to buy the there's a distribution here like 700. See if it melts right through it or it finds some support and starts to build more of a distribution here. Still heavy selling. A little bit of a out there. 347. Still looks weak. Tough to buy here. Trump speaks at 11. Yep, Trump at round table discussion, 11:05. That's kind of the last piece on the agenda for today. Looks like all the Fed stuff is kind of out of the system here. So I want to thank you guys. Everybody's been leaving really great reviews for the book. It's been awesome. I haven't heard anything negative yet, which is, I don't know. I feel like there's so much negativity out there. I was expecting to get a little more criticism, so it's been really good so far. A little long here. Let's see if we can scalp. Stopped out. Was a scratch. Building a little structure here on the cumulative delta. So that's encouraging. At the bottom of this distribution again here. Let's build that out here. Take a look at what's happening. All right, so this is the micro distribution we've formed. So it kind of looks like that.
Trump on the tax bill says, I hear we're doing well. So again, he is currently speaking to reporters at the Everglades detention facility. We've got the live video on the feed.
Everglades detention facility. Well, that sounds awful. I live by the Everglades. You do not want to be in a penitentiary there, I can assure you. Bugs, heat, humidity, death. I have heard of alligator Alcatraz, JP. I watch the news every single night. I am well informed. Oh, night. I am in Jupiter.
Trump says, I'm watching Russia very closely.
Yeah, very potentially. You know, what you got to watch out, you know, shorting this market, Blair, is tough. You know, if we get a short squeeze, it can rip right through all these levels. So you have to be very careful with shorts coming out of a breakdown like this. Oh, Bijan, I used to live in Delray myself, right off Atlantic. Back in the day, back when Atlantic was not as crazy as it is now. Still crazy, but man, as that place got built up, it's wild. I mean, it's gorgeous. What a fun place. Don't get me wrong. So you're going to want to watch out for a short squeeze here sooner or later. Could be a face ripper. All the longs are waiting for it. And it might not come today. Yeah, Deerfield Beach is nice. Yeah, very nice. Kind of got a local feel to it, Deerfield Beach. Well, everything is saying buying, but the market's going down. That's weird, right? Serious passive selling going on. Looks like they want to push it lower. I would say the next setup, you know, I would say long, you know, around here is interesting, but, you know, it's still very heavy. This is the level I was interested in because it is, you know, it's this value area low high, essentially, from Thursday and Friday. So that's an interesting level. It's kind of like right here. On the chart. So that would be a higher time frame fade value area extreme. Now we did get some buyers, but it looks like that wasn't enough, and we could still go lower. If we break this level, now we can go down to 668.
Trump says that the Department of Government Efficiency is going to look at Musk. Not concerned by Musk's criticism on the tax bill. The Trump adds that if Doge looks at Musk, we'll save a fortune.
If I could try to break this level, can it hold it?
Trump has now ended his remarks to reporters at this Everglades facility. But keep in mind, next from Trump, we are expecting the roundtable discussion at this detention center in the Everglades. So it was slated to be at 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time. That'll just be in around 5 minutes when he's going to have this roundtable discussion. But his roll call does state that he's due to have a guided tour of the facility before this. So expect a delay to Trump's next comments.
Very weak looking, guys. I ain't rush.
Really little over
You know, when it's in price discovery, this is tough as compared to yesterday where it's very forgiving. This is like, you know, unilateral price direction. Dow is holding up nicely though. When do we start buying the dip? My long-term account. Okay, coming up on the 11 o'clock hour. How is everybody traded today? Let's hear a little bit feedback from everybody in the group. Yeah, second extension long. Could be a trade, Blair, for sure. So a short squeeze is when there's heavy short interest in the market and price starts going up, they're forced to cover their position, driving the price up even more aggressively. Shorts are essentially being squeezed out of their short position. That happens when there's a lot of people short. All right, Carlitos, not bad. Looks like we might start to pick up some speed here. Speed sell-off. Here we go. Be a little bit of a short squeeze now.
$55 billion worth. So that's the US Treasury Department today slashing the amount of its 4- and 8-week bill auctions for the second straight week. as the government seeks to preserve its borrowing authority.
Waiting for that short squeeze.
Debt ceiling.
Right. Five-day moving average. All right. Doesn't take much to get to the 5-day. That's a very tight moving average. I'm not a fan of shorting IB 50% Libby. Especially in this market. Or NQ. That's been selling off for the last, hour almost. This thing can squeeze violently after a sell-off like that. So, and that's really early in the rotation. So, let me get my drawing tools. So here's our rotations. I would expect a little bit of a bigger, deeper of a pullback before we resume short at this point. And then is it the recovery, right? I think the best trades have already happened. Short. Now we could get another leg down. Where that will be, it's hard to say. I think IB this 720 level is interesting for a short. Maybe we break above it, and then I would look for the break and reclaim short. I would definitely not do first touch on these shorts because they can keep going very easily on a squeeze. So we're gonna look for signs of weakness before getting in. I'll be right back. Well, the nicest short trades anyway. We could get a nice return to value trade, I don't know, we'll see. Do have this big gap in the volume profile here. So I don't know if we're going to get much strength beyond that. I kind of see this as the high right here, right kind of where we came to. So I had this level marked up. That's this red line I've had on the chart is value area low on the regular trading hours volume profile. And it's also the top end of this distribution we formed down here. So now we're forming a value area, right? And this, I don't know, 30-point range. And we can just chop down here now. Went right to my level there. Look at that. I've had that line mapped out there for the last, I don't know, 20 minutes, and it just came to it and reversed to the tick. Look at that. Wild. All right, so that was the spot. I feel like I kind of missed it. So I'm already at a nice healthy profit in my live account too. So it's been a good morning again. Being patient, taking good trades. Nice, John. Trader Rick hit my target on that ES short. Now sitting on my hands 3 straight days, hitting my target since I started following you. Thanks. You're very welcome. Put call ratio is sharply rising, showing hedges being added. Yep. We see a little bit of a rise in the VIX here. Still barely 17, right? Not a very high VIX at all, but it's up almost 2%. It's coming in. Oh, that was a fast sell-off, huh? Look at that. Elevator down. Zane, that is correct. So it's a no long zone when in price discovery down. Now we do have a advanced playbook, Zane, that's available in the course, where you can take scalps, contrarian scalps. I generally don't include that in the basic 4 setups. And for people that are not consistent yet, I do not recommend the advanced playbook. So if you're trying to develop consistency and build good habits, correct. No longs in price discovery to the downside. Now, when you're consistent and you're looking to expand your playbook to be able to take more trades in a market like this, then that's where that advanced playbook comes in. Sorry, Blair. What happened? Zane, the advanced playbook is in the course, which is in the free Discord, the premium Discord. You can go through the entire course with a 1-week free trial. So what happened? Yeah, I mean, you went long at IB 2.0. Oh, first touch, I assume. Yeah, we got no real, that's where like a short-term cumulative delta would come in handy because you can wait for some buying to come in before you take it. But again, if you're just finding consistency or you're new to the system, you might not need an advanced playbook yet. Robin says, what type of trades do you take if you're way outside fair value area like today? Right? We could look for contrarian scalps off of the IB extensions or a higher time frame, right? So we have a low volume down here at 591. This thing's really selling off though. Look at this. We had somebody on YouTube said they're targeting 22,500. And when he said that, I laughed. And now I'm starting to feel stupid. So whoever said that, good on you. I mean, obviously we're still 100 points away, but you're looking a lot smarter now. Who was that? I want to see who that was. Johan Scalp, 22,500 target profit. Dude, if you hit that profit target and you send me proof of that trade, I'll send you a free book. That was impressive. I want his crystal ball. So 250 is down below the 3x extension. That's pretty damn far. We don't usually hit the double X, the 200% extension on the IB. All right, Blair, maybe try and slow it down. I haven't taken a trade and, as we're doing this, I'm sitting on my hands. So if you're trying to pick a bottom, stop. Wait for structure to build. Yeah, serious dumps. I heard some news about Elon saying he might start his own political party. Which, sounds a little crazy to me. He's going to send me his free book. I don't normally take trades that big, so it's just not part of my system. But still, impressive nonetheless.
According to a PBS correspondent on X, House Rep Norman told this correspondent repeatedly
594.
it's time to read the bill and said it's going the way it's going. I don't see how we pass it by Friday. And I don't know why we would want to rush this.
Slow bleed.
Chancellor Merz says I'm optimistic on a US-EU trade deal, but I'm not sure it'll happen.
591, I would say, is the next low volume node.
This comes from an interview with Art TV.
Pretty close. We hit it. Pretty darn close we did. So I'm watching this essentially. This is the last low volume node before we have a generally big distribution right here. So this took out these lows from that big Canada news on Friday. So very silly, I don't know. If we get another break here, I'll add probably another one. See if we get a little retracement up. I'm buying, stepping in here. They let it up. I don't know. We'll see. Nice. Man, 1166. I'll probably call it there, but I'll stick with you guys for the next 40 minutes and see what other trades we can call.
The Senate Majority Leader Thune says, it seems like I have the votes to pass the tax bill.
Thanks, TL. Appreciate the feedback. So we did kind of find support, at least temporarily, at this low volume node or the bottom of this distribution kind of here. So, you know, this is not my favorite type of price action to trade, you know, price discovery, when we kind of just keep moving in one direction for a prolonged period of time. I tend to want to take contrarian scalps. Real easy to get caught off sides doing that. So you got to really manage your risk. Stay sharp. I'm not leaving yet. I'm going to stick around. I'm just done trading. Let's see what else we can get here. Yeah, that is trading. Especially if you're being too aggressive. Oh, I see the VWAP bounce on gold. Man, this thing is also moving very slow, isn't it? So there's the VWAP bounce. Almost to the tick. Look at that. I mean, that was a solid, nothing too crazy, you know, 30, 40, 30 ticks, 35 ticks or so. Nothing crazy. Yeah, I don't know if I would front run gold either. I don't blame you. It's also kind of at this low volume node, which is interesting on the hourly. So let's see if it reclaims this, and then it can move all the way back to 360s. The CVD also, Bob, on other commodities can be much less reliable. It plays a lot nicer on the equities than it does on commodities like gold, oil, copper. You can get some really wacky CVDs in the commodities that make 0 sense. Price can go completely up all day. CVD can go down all day. You get a lot better signals on the equities with cumulative delta.
Get through the house.
So, Robin, I got 19K in payouts from prop firms in June, and a little over 10K in the live account. So it was a hell of a month. It was a good month. June was good to me. The stream also helps, guys. I'm following the process. I'm talking through all my trades. So I'm trading very well. And hopefully the stream helps you become a better trader as well as I talk through the process. It's a good month. I've had incredible months. Much, much bigger. When I was trading small caps, you can make some obscene money, but you can also lose obscene money. You haven't lived until you've lost $50,000 in a day. Haven't lived. And remember, to make that kind of money, you have to risk a lot of money. You don't make that kind of money by playing it safe. You have to be able to risk a lot of money to be able to make that kind of money. It's all correlated. I don't think small caps have a higher edge anymore. I think they're very crowded, actually. And unless you have a lot of money, you're probably going to get clobbered. I think there's more of an edge for bigger accounts. And it's a huge time investment. These guys sit in front of the screens all day, all morning. A lot of these guys wake up at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to try and catch runners pre-market. And they'll stay there all morning. They'll stay there all afternoon. It's so I bought like 10 grand worth of a Dow ETF at the open this morning on my Robinhood and my Roth. That shit is up. It's up 2.3%. That's awesome. David Lee Roth. Any relation? I wouldn't say small caps have a higher edge anymore. It's very difficult. It's very, very hard to make money in small caps consistently. And if you're making real money, you're also risking a lot of money. I'm telling you. Yeah, that was really the only setup we got on the Dow, Bojan. So Robin says it definitely helps having the stream, but you take some very quick trades and it doesn't make much sense sometimes, right? So that's one reason I don't like having my trades up on the screen all the time is because I know for a fact that a lot of people get triggered to take trades because I'm in a trade. And I don't want people taking my quick scalps because by the time they take it, I could already be getting out, right? I don't want that for you guys. So that's a big reason I don't show all of my trades. Okay. The second is a lot of them are at setup locations, but also based on our principles, I have a pretty good idea of which direction we're going, at least in the short term. Right? So if I'm shorting from here to here, right, I can short in the middle expecting us to go to this level. Or if I'm going to short up here, I can buy expecting to go back to this level. I trade the volume profile and the distributions. And that is a very nuanced way of scalping. And that comes with experience. And it gets learned over time. So the more you trade it, the more you understand price action with this system, you'll also be able to take those scalps. But a lot of them, some of them won't make sense to you because of that. But at the core, the heart of them, it's the principles of this system, right? Where are we going, right? So let's, for example, right? Let's say we're expecting to go short here at this level, 700, right? I can try and take this short, right? That one makes sense to everybody, right? You know I'm getting short here. However, if I see a lot of weakness from here to here, right, I might take a short looking to catch a little more of that move. Because I know we've bounced off this level and I'm just looking for more continuation this direction. So even though I already took a trade here, I might try and take another one depending on the order flow for another quick scalp short. Same thing to the upside. If we break IB high and we're ripping, right, I might try and take some long scalps while this thing's moving up based on tick strike, confirming it, based on the cumulative delta. So that's essentially what's happening. I'm actually going to dive into that more in the group coaching on Thursday for you guys. I haven't talked about scalping in a while, so it's going to be a topic for Thursdays. Yeah, if we're in the middle of a short squeeze, though, it can rip through levels. But yeah, that is a setup. 700 could be a short scalp for sure. Yeah, this is the session on the hour chart, Chuck. It is anchored to the 6 p.m. open of futures, Eastern Standard Time. And it pretty much takes in the entire session, 6 p.m. to 5 p.m. And then over here, I have the regular trading hours. So the open of the market. Right, so I use this. Let's go to the 5-minute. And I'll drop this right at the market open. And now I have a volume profile for the regular trading hours too.
US stocks extending gains with the Dow Jones up 1%.
Doesn't always play out the level to the tick. And sometimes you front run and maybe add in a little bit to build a position and maybe get a good price for a retracement. I would recommend somebody for, to trade the setup locations, essentially, Robin. Just wait for setup locations. And if you want to scalp those, great. If you want to go look for bigger moves off the setup location, that's also okay. So as a beginner, I would suggest to just stick to setup locations. Foxhole said also with the YouTube latency of 9 to 10 seconds, that's actually pretty good. Used to be way worse. Used to be like a minute. Discord has very little latencies. All right, so that's about 10 points already. All right, this is the spot we were watching, lower band we were talking about in the room. 15 points off lower band so far. That was the setup location. Now, I don't expect a huge rotation. We do have a bit of a low volume node right here that we got over. So what I'm thinking is we do something like this. Or this. Robin, fair value gap is just a low volume node that's existed for decades. That concept has already existed. They just gave it a different name. It's not new. And people think he invented it, which is quite comical. It's usually a lot of young guys with not a lot of experience or knowledge yet. I don't know if I would take the VWAP bounce now. I think the VWAP bounce already happened. Now it looks weak. Looks like it could lose IB. VWAP, sorry. Okay, that could have been the fade, just that little bit, right? I mean, it was a good 15 points. That's 60 ticks, guys. That's a good little scalp. Now the trade's over. If we break in above it, we can expect to go higher. Thanks, Corey. Good trade. ES recovered a lot. Yeah, I think that's a safe assumption, Corey. Return to value. Now we have a bit of a low volume node at the same spot. All right, and then we have a high volume node right here. So this thing might not rip all the way up to IB low quite yet, right? We have this to contend with. This low volume area. So price would probably go to here first. And then if we could start filling this low volume area, we'll go to IB low. If we can get through that, we'll go to VWAP. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the way, but we talk about level to level. Yeah, very possible. Yep. Bob, talking about a fade value area extremes on ES. Looks like the price discovery continuation short is working out a little bit on NQ as well. Now we have another low volume area right here, right? So we can anticipate this to hold. Blair, you should be glad you're learning anything with prop firms. When we didn't have prop firms, you know what happened? You lost lots of money. That's generally what happened. So you guys are very lucky to have prop firms. The worst is the person that says, man, if all the money I've lost on prop firm fees, I could have just funded a cash account. What they don't think about is how quickly they would have lost that money in a cash account. You get so much more mileage of your experience and your trading by using prop firms, especially if you're using them prudently, to be able to expound your knowledge and experience in a cost-effective way than trading cash account with a lot less stress. JP, it's a good way to manage risk, for sure. So we're still contending with this low volume area. So if we could break above this, I would expect to go to, 720 as our next level. That's the top of this distribution we formed here. And then we can continue to fill out this balance area, or we can try and push higher through that low volume node right here. Josh said, try learning without micros. You had to really have some capital to play with a few years ago. That's correct. Micros always haven't been around, guys. That's actually a fairly new development. How about before the actual mini? There used to be a full size ES contract that's actually bigger than the minis. They're minis because they're actually smaller than the full size contract. Be Magical, I also love Tick Strike. I think it's a fantastic tool. Takes a little getting used to, but once I'm in tune with it and I've been listening to it for a while and see how it plays, man, it's just I don't like trading without it.
Foreign Minister warns in a phone call with the EU Foreign Policy Chief against destructive.
We got some stuff above lower band here, Libby. We have a low volume node and we have IB mid, 50%. So I'm not convinced we're going higher yet. It's trying to get through that level, but not yet. Oh, perfect. Yeah, audio engineer. So you probably love it. Be right back. Yeah, I'd be patient with that long. Still a price discovery continuation, in my opinion. Robin, have you watched my video on them? That should help. I'll post the link for you. Yeah, Russell's going parabolic, huh? Look at that. Well, there was news that they're looking to start cutting rates. So that would benefit small caps. They're highly sensitive to interest rates. So if we get a little bit of a loosening based on monetary policy, I think that would benefit them.
According to a Senate Democratic source, the senators on course to hold a Tuesday.
And we just had some news out of the Fed this morning, you know, that they're looking to cut here soon. Guys, that price discovery short. That was a thing of beauty right there. If you were patient, it took about 15 minutes for it to work its way out. But if you were patient, it's a great trade. Played off right to the level. We had a low volume node. We had IB mid. I keep saying mid, but it's a 50% between low and the extension here. We have value area low on the session. And we have lower band. I mean, there's just a ton of stuff stacked at this level. So that was an excellent trade if anybody took it. Fortunately, it took about 15 minutes to go to work. So if you were impatient, you probably got out of it.
Trump says we'll get whatever we want from Iran. So adds that it will be hard for Iran to do anything because of sanctions. Trump says Israel's PM Netanyahu wants to end the war. On Gaza, he says, I think we'll have a deal next week. Trump says anybody would be better than power.
Nice. Zane grabbed some Russell calls. Good job. Probably paying off nicely now.
And Trump has concluded these sets of remarks as well.
Massive selling come back in. That cumulative delta has given up that whole move already. It was nearly 2,000 contracts that were bought. All right, Carlos, have a good day. I know. Kind of ironic, isn't it? That he appointed Powell. Bob, props to you for using that GexBot tool. I played around with it. I got so lost in the sauce on that thing. I kind of gave up, to be honest. I mean, I get it, but like, to keep internalizing that analysis along with everything else I'm doing was just too much. So props to you. Nice, Blair. You short that? I hope you shorted that. That was a great trade. Price discovery continuation short. You're welcome, Jan. Glad you're here. Probably a good idea, Blair. That was a nice comeback. Awesome, man. You're welcome. I think we got a great thing going on here. It's exciting to see the growth. Nice, John. Caught the short as well. Top of upper band. Bob, that ES fade value or extreme set off paid too. Not sure if you took that one. It was up there a while. 8, almost 10 minutes before it really worked. Had to be patient with it. Go. I didn't take it because I'm done trading. So I would have taken it if I were still trading, but I finished up. So when I hit all my profit targets, I'm done. I hit all the profit targets in all my accounts. And I'm just sitting here with you guys trying to call the market and just what I'm seeing, lend you my experience at this point. Yeah, I totally would have taken that if, well, it's easy for me to say now, but yeah, I would have highly likely would have taken that trade if I had not been done. But I try to stick to my rules, guys. Some of my big rules are not trading outside my trading hours. So 9:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. Anytime outside of that, I should not be trading. That's a firm rule for me. When I hit my profit targets, also I am done. Shut it down, lock myself out, and come back tomorrow. So TL says, what type of buying strength do you look for the signal the sell-off is stalled? So, you know, we saw on the cumulative delta some sell-off. I'll pull that up here in a second. But also this level, right? This is a textbook setup right out of my system. Lower band short, right? We're in price discovery. Right? We came back to lower band. So this is price discovery short out of the setups. And we had some confluence stacked on it. We had a low volume node right here on the higher time frame. This is also value area high, value area low. This gray line I mapped out from Thursday and Wednesday. We had IB 50% line. So we had a lot of stuff here. And at the time, it was also value area low on the regular trading hour. So just a ton of stuff right there. I did. I've gotten quite used to it too, Libby. I just kind of like, I'm here and I just kind of, I'm working, getting stuff done, taking good trades, in and out. If I don't like the trade, I'm out. Look for the next one. Let's go. Ba, 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 ba. it's not easy trading multiple accounts like that. So I'm copy trading 5 Top Step accounts. I have my 150K top 1 account and then my live account. Technically 7 accounts, 5 of which are copy traded, all within 90 minutes. Let's give it 2 hours. And I won't trade again the rest of the day. Won't touch it. So now we're at the top of this. So we broke below this. This might be the back test. And we could go lower. So something like that. Whoa. So I'm always thinking about what could be happening. What are the if this then that scenarios? Always in my head. It could be if this, then that. If this, then that, right? Many different things that could happen here. Right? Try and visualize based on my levels and price behavior. What do I expect that can happen next? And what are the possible scenarios? And then as I begin to recognize it pan out, I get involved. My chart gets all marked up. When I'm done trading, I'll clear all this out and I start fresh tomorrow with fresh eyes, so to speak. You can also build a bit of a composite on this chart. Let's see what kind of levels we get out of a composite here. All right, so let's pull in. Let's grab here to here. So this is an interesting level. Also an interesting level. All right, and then we have high volume node. Volume node. So let's take a look at that. Let's get rid of that now. So now I have these levels. So we're holding at that low volume node, right? On the composite. This is a big level to hold. So we can mark that out here. It's like right there. All right, we got a point of control right around, oh, it's interesting, right around here. It's kind of also right where this one is. To pass an eval depends on the size of the evaluation, Bob. If you're trading like a 50K, you know, I think you could trade 3 to 5 micros. Depends on how you manage your risk. You know, if you're really tight with your risk, you can go bigger size. But if you tend to want to give your trades more breathing room, then you need to use smaller size. So how wide your stops are kind of determines how much size you should be taking. Yeah, I would say 500. You know, if you're going riskier and you're willing to lose the evaluation, you know, you can go to 1,000. That's the nice thing about prop firms. You know, I could spend 50 bucks and have a couple $1,000s of drawdown. So you can give it a little more room. Now, you're not going to trade a real account like that, but you can trade a prop firm like that. They are a little different. A lot of people you'll see will use the entire prop firm evaluations drawdown as their stop loss. And if they blow it, and they start over. But they go normally for bigger trades and bigger size to get it done faster. So then you don't want to trade your XFA or your funded account like that, of course. You don't want to lose the XFA, but that's kind of more of a evaluation strategy. Yeah, I mean, you want to preserve your XFA. So if you have to 50K XFA, 500 bucks is probably prudent. That gives you 4 losing days in a row before you lose the account. That should be an outlier happening. You should not be having 4 losing days in a row. I think. I think there's something wrong. Yeah, that works, Kaufman. I like that. You want to give yourself some breathing room, especially in a combine. It's just not as strict. They're generally inexpensive. Now, if you don't have a lot of money, you don't want to be burning through combines. But if, you got some cash in the bank, you can expedite things a little faster. All right, guys, so we're coming into the last 5 minutes or so of the stream. I'd be happy to answer any more questions if anybody has any questions before I wrap up here today. Mo, I am not in a position. I finished trading earlier. I think I finished around 11 o'clock. So I've just been here kind of just giving commentary on setups I've been seeing and levels, and so people can take their trades. But I traded on stream and I finished with all my profit targets hit by 11. I do use correlation when picking a market, yes. I always have all 4 indexes right next to each other, right? So I have the NASDAQ, the S&P, the Dow, and the Russell, all 4 right here trading next to each other. So I could see how they're trading relative to each other, or how they're correlated or not correlated. I have gold and oil and Bitcoin and natural gas up there. See what those markets are doing. And then I have a bunch of higher time frames for generally whatever market I'm trading, which is it's usually NQ. It's probably one of my favorite markets to trade. Nice, Foxhole. Thank you for buying the book. I hope you're finding it helpful. I think I've gotten a lot of great feedback. So I'll use regular trading hours, Humberto. So 9:30 a.m. on NQ. If it's gold, it's 8:20 a.m. If it's oil, it's 9 a.m. Right? If you're not in the Discord, join the Discord. There's a cheat sheet for all that. On this screen on the hourly, it's the full session. So futures opens at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I capture the whole range here. Then you can do a composite chart if it makes sense to try and capture all of that. I posted a video for that in the chat. You can watch. This is a 30-minute with longer-term VWAPs, like the weekly and the monthly. And then this down here is a daily chart with the yearly VWAP. Yeah, the VIX has been coming down too a little bit. Not by much. We're a little over 17, so we're just sub 17 now. Igorko, I can see I can see and hear footprints with the cumulative delta and tick strike. So tick strike is down here, and then I have cumulative delta up on my monitor here that I'm watching. So I don't really need footprints. I get everything I need out of the volume profile. Cumulative delta, I can see all that stuff without a footprint chart. Richie, you're welcome to message me on here on Discord. Any of the premium members, I generally get back to you right away. Direct message.
Senate begins voting now.
I'm not one of the DMs are closed people yet. I guess yeah, you can add me as a friend. Go for it. Oscar, you should be looking at the footprint of the NQ. And even if you're trading MNQ, I would suggest looking at NQ over MNQ, because MNQ is just following the price of NQ. The actual volume traded on NQ is much more indicative of the propensity for upside or downside on NQ versus the micro. So that's what I suggest. Of course, David. Of course. I think on the WAP, you go to, I don't think there is a link specifically. If I go to cognito.com, Drysdale Trading. I don't know. Can somebody, people get confused with leaving a review on WAP. I don't know why it's confusing. I can't figure it out either. There's some place where you click 3 dots. Here's for the book. It's the book. And then let me do the WAP. So there should be a place on there where you can click. Yeah, that's how you do it. Leave a review, right? Those 3 dots on the mobile app. Very cool. Thank you, Solly. Appreciate it. I mean, I expect a balance area, Bob. If we're starting to form that wedge area, it's probably just an agreement on price currently. And you'll have to watch for it to leave balance one way or the other. Thank you, Sally. Appreciate it. Guys, reviews are much appreciated. And I hate asking for them. I don't know. I just hate being the guy that's like, please leave me a review. But like, unfortunately, like most people tend to not leave them unless I ask. So, and they're really important. So I try not to do it very often. Yes, I do. Let me get that video for you. And also, the more time you spend with it, the more you'll start to glean trade ideas from it as well, Bob. Trying to understand what's happening. TikToks. Had a lot of luck on TikTok. Instagram is actually blown up quite nicely. I had one video get like 200,000 views. It's crazy. Damn, Libby. There's a lot of videos. I create one every single day. There's probably coming up on 100 shorts I've made in the last couple months. Probably 100 of them. Now they're only like a minute or two each, but you know, that's 200 minutes of shorts. Longer. It's probably like a couple hours worth of shorts. I make them every day. I do the ba 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 ba. It is, Bob. Yes, it is an AI photo. 100%. I wish I were that clean kept. Yeah, I used a professional site. It takes all my pictures. It looks like me. So it looks very much like me, but it's like a, you know, kind of like a photoshopped, cleaned up version of me. Thank you, Kaufman. I didn't really, so Kaufman was in my original Discord from last year, and I was just kind of playing around, not taking it very seriously, but it was fun. We were doing some fun stuff. I was streaming, talking about the system. Over, I decided to shut it down because it was kind of taking me away from what I was focused on trading at the time. Really fine tune the system. It took the next year to really get things dialed in and restart with a much bigger focus on building the community, and it's been really, really good.
Passes the sweeping tax cut and spending bill, sending it to the House of Representatives now. So again, the US Senate passes the sweeping tax cut and spending bill and sends to the House of Representatives now. Senate passing the bill.
Yeah, so that's Shane, Mr. Bouillon. Yeah, Shane's doing real well. He's my best friend, obviously. He actually got a really good job with a company down here that our buddy started. It's a multi-billion-dollar construction company, and he brought him up to work with them, and he's doing really, really well, making a lot of money with that company. So he decided to focus on that, but he's doing really well. Still trades gold here and there, but he's very focused on his job at the moment. And he doesn't have the opportunity to sit at like a computer like some of us do and trade and work at the same time. He's out in the field like all day. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for all the questions. I appreciate it. Hope everybody had a good trading day today. For those of you that dug yourself out of that hole, you might want to think about shutting it down here because you're going to hate that you dug out of that hole and then you redug yourself a hole. So sometimes it's good, even if it's a small red day. Climbing out of a deeper red day is a win in and of itself. And put that greed in check a little bit. Volume profile, I don't really use level 2 data or watch the tape. I use tick strike to listen to the buying and selling pressure. That combined with cumulative delta in the volume profile gives me a really good feeling of buying and sellers in the market. I feel like there's a lot of spoofing and manipulation and automation in futures, so I think it's very tough to read level 2 and the tape in futures. There's just so much iceberg and refreshing, and I just don't glean much of an edge focusing on that. So I use tick strike to hear the buying and selling pressure. It gives me a number of how strong the pressure is. That combined with cumulative delta gives me a really good read on the market. Nice, John. That's a good profit day, man. I don't care who you are. Good stuff. Yeah, volume profit 1 minute's as low as I'll go. I'm generally on the 5 minute. I'll drop down lower if we're ranging or we're at an area of inflection I want to get a more detailed look on. And it's usually on a more volatile instrument like NQ. So, all right, guys. Well, hope everybody has a great day trading. If you're going to continue trading, manage your risk, stay sharp. Okay. We have a rangy market. We have a shorter week. This could be it for today, or we can see more downside. So just be prepared for whatever happens. If you're in the premium Discord, you could head on over to the Trader Lounge. You can use your mics, you can share your screens, you can collaborate with your other traders. Great benefit of being in the Discord is being able to use that and kind of pick up on other things from some of our more experienced members who are trading the system. So it doesn't have to stop here. You can head on over to the lounge. So have a great day, guys. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you have any questions, hit me up, tag me in the Discord. I'm always around. And then we have group coaching on Thursday at 12:30 p.m. in the Discord. So have a great day, guys. Good luck trading out there, and I'll see you tomorrow morning.